Hello, witches! Grab your goat, grab an ogre, open that fairy tale book because it is time for the Witches Movie Coven. Yes, witches, talking about witches and witchy movies. My name is Patti Negri. You might know me from my regular podcast, The Witching Hour, from Ghost Adventures, from other television shows, from bathroom walls across America, from my book, Spellcraft, my newest book with Llewellyn, or from my original book, Old World Magic for the Modern World, or from my goat, because we all have one. But let me introduce you to my co-stars. Let's start out with the lovely Courtney Buckley.
That's me, Courtney Buckley, ghost bait on Scared and Alone. And since Jason's not here to talk about his 10 books, I'm here to share some news. Last week, I said I was told in no uncertain terms, no more reptiles. And I said, nobody puts baby in a corner. I was right. Say hello to reptile number 5. 5 reptiles. This is Osha. She's a baby, and she's a leopard gecko, and she's beautiful. And she's here to inspect everybody. So she has thoughts.
Have all your reptiles met each other yet?
No, they can't be friends. But the cats like the reptiles. So
yeah. All right. Well, thank you very much. And of course, our one and only Heather Greene.
Hi, everyone. I am in a different location today. I am absolutely just got off the plane traveling to Minneapolis, where Llewellyn is located. I am an editor at Llewellyn, so of course I have to visit what's often called the mothership. The office is here in Minneapolis, and so that's what I'm doing. So that's why I'm here, and I'm in my travel gear. I am also the author of Lights, Camera, Witchcraft, which is a definitive guide to all things witchy in cinema and television here in the US, as well as a journalist who works and covers all things occult and magical in the mainstream media. And I'm so excited to be here, even from the north, from this hotel room, talking about this particular movie.
Thank you. Now, unfortunately and fortunately, we do not have Jason or Richard Lale today, but filling in 2 of our regular fill-ins. Let's start out with Thumper Forge.
Hello, I am Thumper Forge. I am the author of The Chaos Apple, Magic and Discordianism for the Postmodern Witch, in which I talk about Lights, Camera, Witchcraft. So
Thank you.
Full circle. I love that. And I also may recognize her, Jenny C. Bell.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jenny C. Bell. I am a substitute teacher here on the Movie Coven. I'm the author of 2 books, Divergent Witchcraft and Spirit Crystals, and I am a goat fan.
Our goat. So you guys, you can have a goat too, just in case you didn't know that. That little corner up, Richard Lale does this so much better. But in the corner, mystery control, you can click your camera right there. You can get goats, you can get t-shirts, you can get quotes, you can get pillows with Richard Lale's face on it. You can't get my underwear any longer, but power panties are in purgatory right now, I'm so sorry to say. But someday I have hope. This week's movie is Shrek, the classic fairy tale Shrek. Now, we did not do. Did anybody do Richard Lale's synopsis of this film? Jenny C. Bell, you saved us. Okay, Jenny, can we have a unbiased synopsis of this lovely movie?
I think Jenny, Heather wants to say something.
Yeah, I just wanted to cut in. I just saw something in the chat that I just wanted to point out and draw attention to. One of our regular people, Colin, lost a pet this, I believe recently, today maybe even. And so I just wanted to just point out that was said in the comments. We love our Coven members that are in the comments, just like we love our Coven members that come on live and on the screen. So I just wanted to point it out and say what is remembered lives, and we hope that we send our blessings to you, Colin, for the loss of your pet. We all know how that is. So that's it. That's all I wanted to bring attention to. So, Jenny, sorry for the interruption.
Thank you. And know that your baby will always be with you, Colin. They just lost their little fursuit or meat suit or whatever kind of a scale suit they had. So thank you. All right, back. Thank you, Heather. Back to Jenny.
Yes. Okay. So Shrek. Shrek opens with our main kind of anti-hero, an ogre who is very introverted and is trying to live the swamp witch dream. But Lord Farquaad, who is a short king, is rounding fairy tale creatures and banishing them to the swamp. So at the same time, Farquaad is also looking for an ideal princess to marry. And that's one of my favorite scenes in the whole movie. Once Shrek finds all the fairy tale creatures in his swamp, he is forced on an anti hero's journey or quest with his faithful and annoying steed, Donkey. Shrek participates in an epic wrestling match and is sent on another quest to get a princess for Farquaad. Along the way, they meet a she-dragon and get into some hijinks. Once they obtain Princess Fiona, we realize that she has a large ogre-shaped secret. And then there is a wedding with a battle of good and evil.
Thank you. That's absolutely beautiful. Fine, unbiased synopsis. Actually, indeed. There may be a little bit more about the movie. So on that note, we go to Heather Greene.
Well, you know what? I didn't have the time to do deep dives, but this time around to dig into some of the finer stuff that I usually do. So I'm going to give you as much as I can. I want to talk about a few things after this about fairy tales. So first of all, it's a 2001 film directed by Andrew Adamson and Vicky Jensen. We don't often see in animation until this period of time female directors. So that is something to note, that there was female involvement in the work of Shrek. It is produced by DreamWorks SKG. I'll get into that in a second. Its budget was $50 million. It grossed to date $500 million. So I would say successful. The number two, we have a number of animated films that followed. This was so successful, it turned into its own behemoth. It has its own gravitational pull. Shrek 2 came out in 2004. In fact, Shrek 2 grossed more. That's not actually surprising because the first film was an unknown for SKG, for DreamWorks, and of course, it was so successful and people loved it. More people went to see the second one immediately at the box office. So, of course, it had a budget of $70 million, not that much more, $20 million more, grossed $933 plus million to date. Shrek the Third came out in 2007, Shrek Forever After in 2010, Shrek the Halls in 2010 that year, then the Puss in Boots 2011, and then Puss in Boots The Last Wish in 2022. And of course, Shrek the Musical, and Shrek Scared Shrekless. And I believe there's another one. And to make it even better for you Shrek fans, Shrek 5 is in the works for 2026 with some of the original cast coming out. That is not, I actually checked, there actually is real news talking about this. So I don't have the exact date, but Shrek 5 is in the works after all these years. And apparently Zendaya is going to be involved as well as some of the original cast. And so let's talk about some of that original cast. I'm just going to hit a few of the highlights. There's a ton of people in this we can talk about, and I'm just going to hit the major names because I didn't have the time to go through every single one like I usually do. Of course, Mike Myers. They originally wanted Chris Farley for this role, but he unfortunately passed away before that could happen. So Mike Myers took up the role and did a beautiful job. Eddie Murphy, there you go. That's another one. Eddie Murphy was doing a lot of animated films at this point. He also was the dragon in Mulan as another example of his voice. So he was a standby and doing a lot of that because these films were made partly for adults as well. So pulling in someone like Eddie Murphy or Mike Myers even, comedians that were more attractive to older the parents of the children, actually helped ticket sales. John Lithgow plays Farquaad. Cameron Diaz plays Fiona. And eventually you have Antonio Banderas playing Puss in Boots, and starting in the second one. Now there's a ton of names I'm leaving off right now because I didn't have the time to dig and dig and dig and list all of them. So I'm going to move on from cast. There is all of them. And there's just a ton of names that we could talk about. Number 4, this is based on a children's book. And I think that's super interesting because I never actually read Shrek, the book, but it came out in 1990. It was one of the last of William Steig's books. He was born in 1904. He was a cartoonist. He did cartoons for the New Yorker. And if you know anything about New Yorker cartoons, they're fantastic. I would buy the New Yorker just to look at the cartoons, in fact. I love the New Yorker being from New York City area. And I love their cartoons. He was one of those. He was an illustrator as well, so he was known for that. He wrote Shrek, and so Steven Spielberg bought the rights originally to do this, and eventually, as part of DreamWorks, eventually sold it to DreamWorks, the company, and that went on. There is the original of Williams Shrek. So if you are a parent who loves good children's literature, which I am passionate about, thanks to my own mother and having 3 children. Well, I had 2 William Steig books for my own children that we read many times. And so I can recommend Dr. DeSoto and also Sylvester and the Magic Pebble. So we had those 2. We did not have Shrek. So those are 2 of the ones. And he is very well known. I think he won awards for one or both of those two books. They've got huge children's awards for good children's literature. So I'll say that again, if you have little children, Dr. DeSoto and Sylvester and the Magic Pebble are 2 very good children's pieces of children's literature that are worth reading to them. So that's who William Steig, that's what it's based on. Now, feature animation. So I just want to give you kind of a look at this. So as we know, Disney had the corner of feature animation. When you thought of feature animation, Disney. Now I'm talking about American feature animation. We're not going to Japan or anywhere else because that's a whole different ballgame. But here we had Disney. It started to break in the 1980s when Don Bluth, who was originally a Disney animator, broke off. His first film, which some of you may know, was The Secret of Nim. One of my favorites from the 80s, actually, Secret of Nim. He eventually did American Tail, All Dogs Go to Heaven, I think is his, and a number of others. But Secret of Nim was his breakthrough, and then, of course, American Tail shortly after. So he broke through Disney's monopoly on feature animation in the very early 80s. And that was a time when Disney was floundering itself and trying to find its place again in the world. So it was a perfect timing for Don Bluth. And then in the early 90s, around 94, Katzenberg, who worked for Disney when it started to turn over, when Eisner came in, got kicked out. He got pushed out of Disney. So he formed, with Geffen and Spielberg, DreamWorks. DreamWorks started in 94. I think Shrek they bought in like 95 and started working on Shrek around then. And their first full-length animated film, they did things that were not, you've seen DreamWorks on non-animated films, but their very first one was, I think Ants. I think Ants was their first one in 98. And that kind of put them on the map. And then they did Prince of Egypt the same year, shortly after, which was not as popular. Ants was kind of, it competed with Bug's Life, which Disney did. Bug's Life was better in my opinion, but whatever. And then we can move on. And there were a number of other feature animated films just shortly between Prince of Egypt and Shrek, when Shrek was 2001. Just, I think there's 1 or 2 in there that were not as successful. So Shrek really hit for them. I mean, they did okay with Ants. That's kind of established them. They did a few others, but then right away, Shrek is what did it. Shrek, of course, is one of their top, it's number 5 in their top grossing films of all time. But Shrek 2 is still to this day, their number 1 grossing film for DreamWorks. Of all of them, live action, animation, whatever. I mean, if you look at the number, 70 million budget, now today well over 900 million. So that's a huge, huge win. So that is DreamWorks, and there's so much interesting stuff. And DreamWorks really, with Bluth, starting it, but DreamWorks really has competed very well with Disney in creating feature animated films. And the other piece of this, and I'm just going to take a little extra time. Sorry. You got me. I've got the microphone. I'm going to say this is that, and this is something I talk about later. And I did a lot of research. My dissertation in grad school was on Disney animation. So I know a lot about the feature animation world, but I also studied a lot for my book about witches on fairy tales. And I've done a lot of work on fairy tales and how that looks. And this is what I call a mashup fairy tale that also breaks up Jack Snipe style, breaks the fairy tale, breaks our traditional fairy tales, fractures it. And that's, I think, the Jack Snipes term is the fractured fairy tale. So it fractures it, but it's also a mashup. And this is the beginning of it. You see it in Shrek, but then you're going to see a lot more happening in the 2010s. So Shrek is one of the early ones to really do it. That and the 80s musical called not Once Upon a Mattress, dang it. Into the Woods, sorry. I'm confusing my musicals. So Into the Woods does it really well there, and that's an 80s musical by Stephen Sondheim. But then Shrek does it here, but then you're going to see a ton of it come in 2010s. And I talk about that in my book, in Fractured and Mashup Fairy Tales, but Shrek is one of the first. And I think it's really fascinating what they did, why they did it. There's so much to talk about. It's fun, it's funny, but there's so much to talk about within the way they took this fairy tale and what they did to it. So that's it. I'll leave you with that. Discuss amongst yourselves.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I just want to say thank you to whoever picked it. It was so nice to have a happy, fun film this week. Then I did not have to want to kill myself after watching the movie or just die and lay down and give up on everything and everybody. You know, the good guy won. The good guy is an ogre. True love. I laughed. I cried. I'm just very, very happy. So thank you. If that was you, Heather, thank you. I don't know who picked it, but thank you very much. That's all I have to say in this very moment in time, because I have to get my dog. Somebody jump.
I love Shrek. I love Shrek so much. I changed out my lizard to bring my dragon. But I love Shrek. I've loved Shrek since it came out. I've continued. I was, I think, a teenager when it came out. I loved it. And then I loved it again for Nathan, watching it with Nathan and getting all of the adult jokes that I might have missed the first time around. And then we can't not mention Shrek the Musical, because that was on Netflix for a hot minute. And Nathan and I watched that on repeat. And then I had to go see our local high school perform it, which I cried like a baby because all of the high school kids, I was so proud of them for doing that. And so there's 107,000 Shrek movies. I don't love all of them. I love the first one, but I also love the second one and also Puss in Boots. But I love the second one too, with the fairy godmother and Prince Charming, who looks like Jamie from Game of Thrones. And,
Yes.
and it's, I can't think of anything else.
That's so true.
Yeah, I can't think of anything else when I see him. But yeah, it's literally, it's a movie that, like, for me, you know, I have it in like my digital downloads or whatever. And if I'm having a night where I just can't figure out what I want to watch, or I'm not really paying attention, but I just want something on, I'll put on Shrek because it's comfort and it's funny and it's silly and I can turn my brain off for a little bit, but still enjoy myself. And that's it. That's my thought on Shrek. I will put my sunglasses on if anyone has anything other than that to say about it, or I'll stick a dragon on you. Someone said, what's a reptile witch? Because I put that in my little tag this time. I have 5 reptiles and I keep bringing more on every week. So that's my name.
Do you know if they're boys or girls?
We know some of them. We assume the rest. So we've tried to shoot for like gender neutral names, or like we name them after characters that we love. So the only one we're sure of is Gladys, who's the first one that you met, the chameleon. And she's named after a witch. So that's why.
That's beautiful. I must say, the music, I was so happily loving the music in this movie. Songs I love, songs I know. Yeah, so my ears were just as happy as my eyes and my heart this week. Thumper.
I remember seeing it when it came out in theaters and thinking, oh, that was fun. And it didn't it was fine. I didn't hate it. I thought it was fine. But years later, a roommate of mine had gotten a hold of the DVD of the musical and kind of locked the doors and barred the windows and refused to let me leave and forced me to watch it. And I absolutely fell in love with the musical. And so I think a lot of my memories of Shrek and the things I love about Shrek are things specific to the musical that may or may not have anything to do with the movie. I did, as I was getting ready for tonight, I fell down a little bit of a Shrek conspiracy theory rabbit hole.
Ooh.
And
Wow.
it seems fairly like a no-brainer, but there is a lot of debate over how Fiona got cursed. And it ties into the lore of the second movie. There's a theory that the fairy godmother cursed Fiona so that her son would have a reason to go rescue her and break the curse. And I was like, and I've never seen the second one. I've only seen the original and the musical. I've not gone down the full pathway. But knowing that, I was like, "Ooh, I'm kind of on her side. I like her moxie."
I think you would love the fairy godmother.
I think so too.
Especially her lounge singing, "What's up? Where have all the good men gone?" Whatever. It's so good with her sequins dress. Yeah. It's amazing. It's great.
Yeah, watch the second one.
And then they're in the flying carriage because she's the king is a toad, and so she has him cursed, whatever. They get in the it's like the mob. It's like the we talk about the witch mafia. It's like the witch mafia in Shrek, basically the fairy godmother mafia. And she pulls up to his balcony in a flying carriage and makes him get in, and then she's all stressed out and they have to stop through the drive-through so she can do her feelings.
The one thing that is really burned into my memory about the first movie and seeing it in the theater was the scene where Fiona is singing with the birds, or with the bluebird, and they keep going and reaching, and then the bird explodes and she sees the eggs.
Yep.
I saw it in a packed theater. The audience reaction when she was making eggs in the next scene, the audience went nuts. That is my fondest memory of the movie, is how unexpected that was and how big of a reaction it got from the people watching.
Yeah, so we talked about the music, and I saw Tabitha asked everyone what your favorite version of the song Hallelujah is. Mine is Jeff Buckley's. Jeff Buckley has just got a resurgence with Gen Z, and they've been trying to tell me who they are. Former students are do you know Jeff Buckley? And child, yes. Jeff Buckley's ours. But anyway, so that's my favorite version. And what's everybody else's?
Well, the one I'm used to is the pentatonics, because if you want to play it, that's what comes up. Yeah. And I like it. It's beautiful. But if you just go to Apple Music or YouTube or whatever, that's all I can ever pull up, I guess, without knowing the exact title of who else is singing it. So, but it's a lovely version.
There is an Australian singer who she won the Australian version of The Voice, and her name absolutely escapes me. But she kind of made records for all four judges turning their chairs around within 3 seconds of her starting her song. And she started with "It's a Man's World" was how she was kind of introduced on the show. But later on, she did a cover of Hallelujah that was just mind-boggling. And I will find her name, because that's a horrible. Oh, my favorite version, you wouldn't have heard of it.
You just wouldn't know. It's so indie, you don't know it.
Exactly.
I don't know that I have a favorite version.
Yeah. I mean, my only experience with the song outside of church memories that I don't want to have is the Shrek. So that one.
That's a good one.
But I feel like there's another niche memory that we have to talk about that not everybody has, but a lot of people do talk about having the same niche memory online, is going to a sleepover or something at your friend's house and having the DVD on. Now, mind you, this is probably my age because we were about that age, but putting the DVD on, and when you played a DVD and it ended, a lot of times it would either restart the movie from the beginning, or it would have the DVD, the special features menu or whatever. And I think it was either Shrek 1 or Shrek 2. The menu would play, and it was there was a game you could pick on there that was like American Idol, and you would have to sing, and Simon, like the Shrek version of Simon would come on and tell you how bad you were, and then like he would win. Like there was some special feature like that is like just you'd wake up in the middle of the night to like Simon Cowell.
Oh my god. Well, and the movie has become a cultural norm. Everybody's seen it. Like you can quote stuff from it. People know what you're talking about. It actually appeared in a recent, what is it, I Am Legend. If you've seen the movie I Am Legend with Denzel Washington, he walks in at one point. He is isolated. If you haven't seen it, it's a zombie movie. He's isolated by himself. He hasn't seen human beings for years, but he plays Shrek over and over. I guess that was, if I remember correctly, maybe that was something he watched with his kid who dies. But they go through a whole scene where he is just repeating with Shrek. And so it is something that is, it's getting out beyond its own borders, its own narrative borders, and it's something people just know, and it's that, and I'm just going to say, it came out I saw it in theaters, being a fan of animation, but it was shortly after, when my children were born, we watched it over and over and over and over. And a lot of the words and a lot of the things in it, we say, like a lot of the things that happen, we will repeat. The musical for me felt like, just like a lot of Disney, not a lot of Disney, I'm sorry. Disney started doing their animation on stage. So this seemed to be like that. And show to the musical scene, the show tunes are looking for musicals they're looking to bring people into the stage. They're looking to attract people because it's not something that's easy. It's not easily accessible. People don't want to see Oklahoma. People don't want to see these kind of things. They want to attract people. So bringing a successful movie onto the stage helps, right? Something like Shrek, I felt like a little forced to me. I get it. I get it. There are some parts of it that were funny and it repeated, but I'm like, it felt a little unnecessary to me. I didn't love Shrek the musical, and really there's only two. Do not put your glasses on.
I'm getting up to go get them.
It feels
Me
like
and my lizard.
I love Shrek. I absolutely love Shrek. I've seen all the movies. I saw Shrek. I did not see Scared Shrekless. I saw Shrek, the holiday one. I've seen all the Shreks.
Not enough, apparently.
But did not see Shrek Thrilling Tales or Shrek Scared Shrekless. I didn't see those two. I didn't hate the musical. I maybe if I see a different version of it, but I do love Fiona's song though. So you get me on karaoke, I'll do Fiona's song for you. But I love Fiona. Just do not put the glasses on there.
The glasses are on Rocky and on my face. We're both wearing glasses.
I absolutely love the fact that the dragon falls in love with the donkey, and then they have donkey dragon babies.
Yeah, that's the great part.
That is a story.
Heather, I will
learn
the harmony, and I will do Fiona's song with you at karaoke.
I was just trying to look up Fiona's song.
We are there. Thumper. That's
excellent.
Great. But the one thing, if you haven't seen the later ones, why do we do Shrek on a witch show? So what's interesting is there are more and more witches as the movies progress. I can't remember which, is it 3 or 4 where there's an army of witches that go to battle? The flying army of witches. I can't remember if that's 3 or 4 right now. Where the bad guy sends out his minions of flying witches, and he's at a table, and all the witches are around the table. Most of them have green skin, of course, and if you've read my book, you know why that is. But there's more and more witches as the movie comes by. And the witches in the early one and in the musical are part of the weirdos. Let Your Freak Flag Fly is the song, and there's a witch part of that. But in the movies, the later movies, witches become the army of the bad guy.
Yes.
Yeah, but even that's fabulous, which I haven't seen most of those. But even this one, even though they weren't witches, there was curses and spells and magic.
Oh yeah. Oh, for sure.
Yeah, and all the fairy tales, for those of you who are newer to witchcraft, a lot of fairy tales have folklore. They're based on folklore and folk magic, and there's a lot you can glean from fairy tales. Like, especially, I really like what Sharon Blackie is currently writing. She's writing a lot about fairy tales and folk magic and all these kind of intersections for witches, especially for women, and how empowering that is. And that's like, I studied fairy tales in literature, and there's so much you can do. But something I wanted to share is like I'll show my age. So I had this movie on VHS, and when I was a teacher, I was like, I'm going to show it to them as like a treat, but it's rated PG.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to get parent permission for Shrek. And this was so weird, because now my daughter in high school, like, she's watching all kinds of movies that like I would have never been able to show. But it was such a big deal that this was an animated American film that was PG.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember it like just didn't even dawn on me. It's like, it's Shrek. And everyone's like, no, you're going to have to get parent permission before you show the middle schoolers. And it's like, I feel like this movie sparked so many good movies. Like, prior to this movie, like a lot of the American animation wasn't really funny to grown-ups.
Yeah.
And now I feel like when I'm excited, like when I go to the movies with my kids and we're going to watch like a Minions movie, I know I'm going to laugh too. Like, it's not just kids humor. And I feel like I'm sure Heather could talk about this, but I feel like we have Shrek to thank for this like shift in funnier animation in our country, especially like towards adults.
We actually don't. And
Okay.
But are you there? Is that me? No.
Yeah.
Okay. So it really isn't Shrek that did this. But Shrek is one of the first that did it full on in the 2000s. In the way that they did it. So the very first PG animated film was The Black Cauldron. And that was not because it was funny. It's because we did Black Cauldron here. It's because of the darkness of it and the scariness of it. And that was 85, I believe. But really the animation starting to gear its humor towards adults started with The Simpsons.
Yeah.
So it really started on TV. And often TV tests the boundaries of things, and we see that because it's easier to do that than in an expensive feature film. So a lot of times TV will test these kind of things. So we really started to see this in the late 80s and the early 90s with The Simpsons. And then you had King of the Hill, and you had Beavis and Butthead, and you had a ton of animated series that were telling us animation is not only for kids anymore. It was breaking that expectation that we had. And so for Shrek to come in then and do that in 2001, following that, to take some of that humor, in fact, SpongeBob SquarePants, another one. I don't remember when SpongeBob first came out.
2001.
2001 is SpongeBob SquarePants. Let me tell you, I had to ban that for my children. So I did not ban Shrek, but I banned SpongeBob SquarePants after a very poor behavior incident, which we will not talk about right now because I still have mama scars from. But SquarePants was another one that was breaking the comedy boundaries. And Disney was doing it. Disney was slowly doing it, but they still, like with Beauty and the Beast, Little Mermaid, and Pocahontas, they were trying to capture audiences, full audiences, but in a different way. The humor was not quite there. Lion King, there was a little bit. It was fun, but they were capturing adult audiences in a different way. Yeah. This one, of course, went in a different direction. And there is SpongeBob right there.
Yep.
SpongeBob SquarePants.
Don't get me started, because I just quoted SpongeBob like an hour ago in actual conversation.
Yes. Me too.
I feel like Animaniacs was another one.
Yes, another one.
Where it was a kid's show ostensibly, but I remember watching it in college. Like, people would gather in the dorms to watch Animaniacs because the humor, there were so many asides for adults but you could still bill it as a children's show. A kid could watch it and not catch any of the adult humor. And I feel like that would be sort of part of the inspiration or influence or things that just kind of built up to something like Shrek.
Yeah, Gen X totally broke the mold when it came to animation being only for children. Gen X, just the 90s, just did it on television, and that just burst out with, you know, all these things. And Shrek did it differently. Shrek maintained maintained a certain dignity when it came to what it needed to do for children,
Yeah.
and made it very, very, very palpable for children, even young children, but added in, of course, the baseline humor that, let's call it that adults love, and some other stuff, and it had a really uplifting, very true fairy tale kind of message that was fractured and put back together in a different way.
Yeah.
So yes, and also, of course, adding in Eddie Murphy and Mike Myers to SNL, people of SNL fame helped that immensely.
Yeah, it was more nuanced, is what I guess I was trying to say.
Yes.
Like, I grew up with Beavis and Butthead. This was
Yeah.
not Beavis and Butthead. I wouldn't show a child Beavis and Butthead. But you can take like a 5-year-old, but you can also laugh. And I feel like that's a skill as a writer, as a comedy writer, to be able to do that. And that's what I love about modern cartoons. Like, I would be so bored to death if I had to take my kids to like see old Disney movies. Like, I would be sad. But to like watch some of these newer ones, and especially DreamWorks, and I really like all the Minions movies, like I'm happy to go. I'm like, I'm buying the tickets. Like, I'm pushing them out the door. Like, we're gonna go see Minions. Let's go, you know?
Yeah. I think the writing for animation has become more sophisticated, and because they could see what it can do. It's not just for children. Excuse me. Someone else talk about the cough.
Talk some.
I will
They're the
that,
witches.
Oh, there they are. I will say that this role for Shrek was probably a really good role for Mike Myers, because I remember reading something or seeing an interview about how he hates improv and he doesn't improv. And Dana Carvey would always throw him off when they would do their skits together on SNL, because Dana Carvey would just get off script and be able to improvise stuff, and Mike Myers has to stay on the script. So I feel like in an animation setting, there's just not as much room for that. And I feel like that was probably that probably allowed him to shine in his humor more than some other venues would.
It was brilliant. I heard that he recorded it without the accent, and then he recorded it a second time completely and added the Scottish accent.
Really?
Yeah.
I love it with the Scottish accent.
I do too. It was fabulous. It was good. I wanted to thank Tabitha. I forgot to do that in the beginning. She is our fellow Coven member, and she is running the chat room for us. So everybody say hi to Tabitha Meadows. Thank you.
Hey, Tabitha.
Yes. And yes, we are not bots. Somebody just wrote something in the chat room about thinking we were bots or they were bots, or
We have normal amount of fingers. Right?
no bots.
Our
No
faces move.
We just can't not do fingers, you guys. We can't not do 10, 5.
I am gonna say, I'm because I loved animation growing up, and because I did my work in college on animation, and people laughed at me. I remember some of my Disney animation. I'm like, I would have put my Courtney sunglasses on and got my lizard out with sunglasses at that point if I had that. I'm like, do not even. But the you guys said, is studying fairy tales and studying this, there's way more to it. And then over the 2000s and into the 2010s, there's been so many amazing TV and animated movies that are worth watching. Disney's produced a number of them that are worth watching now. We haven't even done Brave. There's a witch in that. And you had Princess not Princess and the Pop Star. This is a Barbie movie, not that one. Princess. We had the Frog Prince, the Princess and the Frog.
Yeah,
we did that one, I believe. And then from Disney, and Cars was phenomenal. I mean, these are not, when I say phenomenal, I don't mean phenomenal for kids and they were. I mean, these were worth adults watching. And it continues. You have Owl House, which has been a really great witchy TV show that Disney did more recently. I mean, we could go on and on. And if you really want top of the line animated show for your child, that you can actually watch a show, My Little Pony.
Obsessed. Yes.
Obsessed. The one that happened in 2008-9, that one with the Equestria girls and all the magic. I would get stuck watching that. So animation has evolved, and Shrek is one of those ones for sure. So this
Heather,
is a
you
topic I could talk about
Do you know that Weird Al Yankovic was a pony in My Little Pony?
Oh, I do. Which one was? I think he was the chaos one?
No, his name was Grilled Cheese Sandwich, and
Grilled cheese sandwich.
he is
Yes.
canonically married to Pinkie Pie,
Oh my
and
God.
his little symbol on his rump is a grilled cheese, but it's also an accordion.
Yeah.
You are a brony.
Yes, you're a
That's the
brony.
only one I know. I am not. I have never actually.
You are
seen the
brony.
show.
You're
I
just
like,
That's the t-shirt. That's the t-shirt for this week. Thumper is a brony.
brony. Is a brony.
welcome to my fixation. I will be back next time.
It is cheese sandwich.
I have to tell you, one of my dearest friends wrote the Brony movie about it. He was the first guy to make big money on whatever you ask for money to make a project. He was the first guy. He asked, I'm making up the numbers, but he asked for 300,000 and got $1 million. And he's practically making a living off it still, going to Brony conventions. He wrote Laurent Malachi. He's actually the guy who wrote the movie about me with somebody catching on. Him is the guy who caught on fire at Marilyn Manson's house during my seance. Is the guy who wrote the Brony movie. Laurent, he's this beautiful filmmaker. So,
And that's a great movie.
The one you did with the dragon, the seance with the dragon that someone caught on fire?
yes, nobody was in a dragon. He caught on fire, and the scarring turned into a shape of a dragon, because it's a dragon that I called in to shut down the seance, because I work dragon magic. And I'm like, oh my God, you have a tramp stamp of a dragon on your back. So he wrote a whole movie about, me. Margot Robbie should play me if they ever do it. Just saying. But he wrote a whole movie about this TV medium who did every TV show. And then a portal opened and it turns into one of those, the kind that I like, kind of funny and scary horror movie. He wrote it with Stephen Norrington, the guy who wrote League of Extraordinary Gentlemen and the Blade series. But I must say, if they ever do it, I sat down with Laurent for 5 hours and I go, Laurent, you can't say that in a script. He's like, but you said it. I go, I know, but that opened a portal. You don't want to be one of those cursed horror movies, do you? It happens all the time. Spirits, energy don't know the difference of actors reciting lines and, really opening up a portal to hell. So if they ever do it, and that's why it's so good, more and more people are using consultants. If you're doing voodoo, have a voodoo person. If you're doing witchcraft, have a craft person. So again, it's called The Portal, if it ever comes out, by Laurent Malachi, the Brony author and the Portal author, and Stephen Norrington. And we all need to go get a fursuit. Come on.
Let's not even talk about personas. I can't. But I also need to point in the chat, like, I'm losing my mind about this comment. Spooky Mark said, what if Thumper's camera fell over and it shows the pony costume that he wears? Like, that is going to live rent-free, that imagination, rent-free in my head.
My thing has always been weird rabbits with horns. So I'm going to dip my toe into Bronyhood.
Oh,
but I have jackalopes and Vulpertiners and like all these horned rabbits all over my apartment, and I don't know that I have room for ponies as well. But I will get at least one. I will find some My Little Pony memorabilia, and always have it with me.
Maybe
cheese sandwich.
If I like grilled cheese sandwich a lot. I think that might
grilled cheese sandwich.
That's funny.
We need it on mysterycontrol.com. The Thumper is a brony. Like that's literally.
I'm wearing that t-shirt.
I would smash the order button so fast my finger would break in half, and I would wear it every week.
Yeah, you are.
The next con I'm at, when Thumper's there, I'm gonna have that t-shirt on.
And I will. We will match. We will wear them when we sing Fiona's song. Are you?
There you go.
Is it the song where she's in the tower and it's the three Fionas? Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
We will wear our Thumper as a Brony shirts, and or I might wear Worst Orgy Ever.
I just almost put that on 2 minutes ago.
I just randomly say that sometimes.
I literally was holding the shirt in my hand, looking at it, being like, I might wear it.
That's my go-to sarcastic comment sometimes. Just,
Yes.
worst orgy ever.
I should go put it on right now. It's literally I can see it. It's go around the table.
Okay, yeah, we're loving everything going on in the chat room tonight. You guys are funny. Spooky Marge is funny. You guys are great. Do we happen to have any quotes, Miss Courtney?
Yeah, I had to be selective about it because I could just read the whole script because that's how I feel about the movie. So I picked some, and some of them are not just like one-liners. There's like full-on conversations. So this might take me a second, and I'll try to go fast. But one of the first ones that comes to mind constantly is the Duloc song. When they show up to the castle of Duloc and the little guys in the little clock thing sing the song. And it's my favorite line is, please keep off the grass, shine your shoes, wipe your face. Duloc is Duloc is a perfect place. And then Donkey's like, let's do it again. A lot of these are Donkey's lines, but he says, I like that boulder. That's a nice boulder. And then anytime anyone says Shrek in my presence, my like verbal tick response is, I'm making waffles.
I got another one.
The whole very important ogres are like onions.
Yes.
Speech, where Shrek says, for your information, there's a lot more to ogres than people think. And Donkey says, example. And Shrek says, example, ogres are like onions. And because he's carrying an onion, and Donkey smells it, and he goes, they stink? And Shrek says, yes, no. And Donkey says, oh, they make you cry? And Shrek says, no. And Donkey says, oh, you leave them out in the sun, they get all brown, they start sprouting little white hairs? And Shrek says, no, layers. Onions have layers. Ogres have layers. You get it? We both have layers. And Donkey says, oh, you both have layers. Oh, not everyone likes onions. Cake. Everyone loves cake. Cake has layers. And Shrek says, I don't care what everyone likes. Ogres are not like cakes. And Donkey says, you know what else everybody likes? Parfait. Have you ever met a person who say, let's go get some parfait? And they say, hell no, I don't like no parfait. Parfaits are delicious. Shrek says, no, you dense, irritating, miniature beast of burden. Ogres are like onions. End of story. Bye-bye. See you later. And Doggy says, parfaits might be the most delicious thing on the whole planet. Pinocchio says, we were forced to come here. And Shrek says, by who? And one of the pigs says, Lord Farquaad. He huffed and he puffed and he signed an eviction notice. And when they walk up to the castle, Shrek says, that must be Lord Farquaad's castle. Do you think he's maybe compensating for something? Because he's a tiny little man. Donkey says, so where's this fire-breathing pain in the neck anyway? Shrek says, inside, waiting for us to rescue her. And Donkey says, I was talking about the dragon, Shrek. And then literally, I can't, like, again, another, like, verbal stem that I have is run as fast as you can. You can't catch me. I'm the gingerbread man. You're a monster. I'm not the monster here. You are. You and the rest of that fairy tale trash poisoning my perfect world. Now tell me, where are the others? Eat me. I tried to scare you creatures, but now my patience has reached its end. Tell me, or I'll... No, not the buttons. Not my gumdrop buttons. All right, then, who's hiding them? Okay, I'll tell you. Do you know the Muffin Man? The Muffin Man? The Muffin Man! Yes, I know the Muffin Man who lives on Drury Lane. Well, she's married to the Muffin Man. The Muffin Man? The Muffin Man! She's married to the Muffin Man. Okay, and then Shrek says, this. I said this, I used to say this to Nathan when he was an infant, and I would feed him his bottle, and he would eat an exorbitant amount, and I'd say, that'll do, donkey, that'll do. And then this one makes me laugh so hard that I cry. When they're going into the castle to rescue Fiona, and Donkey smells like the brimstone, and he goes, whoa, Shrek, did you do that? Man, you got to warn somebody before you just crack one off. My mouth was open and everything. Shrek says, "Believe me, donkey, if it was me, you'd be dead." And Shrek says, "It's brimstone. We must be getting close." And donkey says, "Yeah, right, brimstone. Don't be talking about it's the brimstone. I know what I smelled, and it was no brimstone, and it don't come off no stone either." And then I have the whole, I don't want to do the whole thing, but I have the whole magic mirror with the bachelorettes, where he's like, "So just sit back and relax, my lord, because I'm about to give you today's 3 eligible bachelorettes. Our first bachelorette is a mentally abused shut-in from a kingdom far, far away. She likes sushi and hot tubbing anytime. Her hobbies include cooking and cleaning and her 2 evil sisters. Let's hear it for Cinderella. Bachelorette number 2 is a cape-wearing girl from the land of fantasy. Although she lives with 7 other men, she's not easy. Just kiss her frozen dead lips and find out what a live wire she is. Give it up for Snow White. And last but not least is a fiery redhead who lives in a dragon-guarded castle surrounded by a boiling lake of lava. But don't let that cool you off. She's a loaded pistol who likes pina coladas and getting caught in the rain. Yours for the rescuing, Princess Fiona. So who will it be? Bachelorette 1, Bachelorette 2, or Bachelorette 3? And then all the people in the background are like yelling. So funny.
One of the guards has like the wrong number. He's like holding up the wrong finger too.
Yeah. There's no 4.
Yeah. And then my last one is when Princess Fiona is the ogre and she says, "Donkey, it's me in this body." And Donkey goes, "Oh my God, you ate the princess."
I think you need to do a one-woman show.
Literally, I do a one-woman show because I love this movie and I just quote it.
I'm ready for it.
We do the same thing, and there are moments where I will just shout out something, one of those quotes you said, and it scares. And I did it last night, I think it was, and Ben was reading, and my partner Ben was reading, and I all of a sudden I said, "Oh my!" I can't remember which one it was. Something. I think I just walked by him and said, "I have my mouth open and everything," and he just went like this. Because what's going on? These things just come out. This movie is just like that. There's just so many great quotes, and you just, once they're in your lexicon, you can't stop. It's been like this since 2001. So I get you, Courtney.
Yeah,
we would be trouble together.
It just happens. But I also, I forgot to say this earlier. I have a confession to make. This is going to be brave for me to say, for everyone to read. I mean, for everyone to watch. I am an avid reader. Sometimes what happens when I'm reading books is I set these goals for myself every year, and I have to read a certain number of books, and I keep track of how many books I read. And I start to panic when I get too far behind, and I have to like panic read. But it counts as a book. If it has a front cover and a back cover, it's a book. I don't care how many pages it is. So I just start taking TikTok recommendations of like the weirdest books ever. And one of my favorites is a book called Get in My Swamp, and it is Shrek smut. So it's about
I'm gonna read it.
Beck and Leona. It is not suitable for children in any way, shape, or form because it's very graphic, but the glee I feel when I read it, or when I read it, there's Get in My Swamp, Stay in My Swamp, and then there's like another offshoot one from some of the other fairy tale characters in the book. When like literally, again, as the lines are coming out of my mouth, if anyone mentions Shrek to me in just normal passing, I'll be like, "Oh, there it is. Have you read this book?"
I'm reading it.
Please. I need you to message me as like during it while you're reading. I need a live reaction from it. I don't know. But it is so funny. It makes me scream because I love the movie so much, and I've seen the movie so many times that it's like it's hard to separate that in your brain, and it now is just like a part of my personality that I've read this book. So
wow,
That's awfully hot looking Shrek in that book.
Yeah, he's very muscular. He is very domineering. He is a big giant ogre, and ogres in this book are not scary. They are buff and capable of a lot of things. So
Thank you. Those were brilliant quotes today, Courtney. Voices and all. You should be doing animation. That's great. Now, is anyone want to imitate Jason today? Do we have anybody
I
doing?
would like to.
You do. You could do
Yes.
a Mickey movie
We
moment.
do not have a Menke movie moment, but we do have Forge's feelings on film.
Yes.
So I did my best to channel Jason. I opened a portal. It doesn't end well, but we'll see what I can do. As a practicing witch, I can easily rationalize fantasy fiction. Talking donkeys? I know a pet psychic. Talking donkeys seduced by a dragon? Love is love. Talking gingerbread man? I took magic mushrooms in college. But listen, I can only suspend disbelief to a point. Shrek would have us accept without question that magical curses can transform fairy tale princesses into ogres. However, it is an established and irrefutable law that the only way to turn an average human being into an unspeakable green monster with remarkable strength and weird facial features is through exposure to gamma radiation. The Incredible Hulk first appeared in 1962, setting the precedent that gamma rays turn people green and give them superpowers. This is just science. And the Hulk was followed by any number of Marvel characters with gamma-infused origin stories. She-Hulk, the Abomination, Sasquatch, that one evil smart guy with the really big forehead whose name escapes me at the moment. All of them were created through gamma radiation. There he is. And yet, 40 years later, DreamWorks just up and decided that waving a magic wand and locking a princess in a tower would have the exact same effect. Wrong, DreamWorks. How very wrong you are. But Thumper, I hear my naysayers exclaim, DreamWorks and Marvel are two separate production companies. Why should one be forced to adhere to the extremely reasonable canon of the other? To that, I say, stop exclaiming. We at the Witches Movie Coven use our inside voices. And also, DreamWorks was co-founded by Jeffrey Katzenberg, former chair of Walt Disney Studios, which now owns Marvel. Granted, Disney didn't acquire Marvel until 15 years after Katzenberg left, but time is malleable in the Marvel universe, so clearly Katzenberg knew exactly which forces he was meddling with when he greenlit Shrek, no pun intended. Some may wonder why I've chosen this particular viridescent hill to die on, and I hope those people turn green in the old-fashioned Mr. Yuck way. Because here's the crux of the matter. Yes, I practice witchcraft, and yes, I sometimes throw rocks on the ground to see the future, but I am not irrational. Reality is a cruel emerald mistress, but the fact remains that true love's kiss will never stop a rampaging Hulk. And if Hulk were here, you know what he'd say? He'd say, Hulk smash Duloc! And then he would say, my culture is not your costume. P.S. It has come to my attention that my boyfriend Noble, Heather Noble says hi, has never heard of Mr. Yuck because he's Generation X and knew better than to drink cleaning supplies. And to that, Hulk says, well, I'm Generation Jones, so I outrank you. Not everything is about Gen X, Noble. Check your privilege. And that is for the viewers from film.
Amazing.
Brilliant. Thank you, Thumper. Wow.
Good try.
Okay, that is good. Okay, we are getting up to that time. We have to vote. We have to vote on this film. Grab a wand. Grab something long and pointy or a wand.
Heather, I see your Hello Kitty, and I raised you Hello Cthulhu.
This is my Melody, actually.
Oh, it is Melody.
Yeah, her ears are down.
I'm giving dragons up.
Wands up, dragons up, dollies up, toys up. All right, you guys in the chat room, let us know. Wands up, wands down, wands neutral. We may have another rare. Everybody vote the same?
As we should, because my eyes are on that chat, and if one single person votes down, we're putting our sunglasses back on and we're getting to work.
And you may be an ogre forever. Wands up for a movie that's yet to be flogged. Okay, so anybody we're getting wands up for Colin, wands up for John. My wand is it's in outer space. Go, Robert. Yes. Yay. Okay. This is our first.
Hold on. It's Spooky Marg's first time. We say wands up if we like it, and wands down if we don't, or wands neutral, or whatever you got nearby that can help you. So,
yes.
Like for me,
yes.
My wand is not here, so I'm doing dragons up,
Yes.
or Hello Cthulhu up.
We get very creative. Something up, something down, something neutral. And it is rare we even close to agree on something. So,
we did last week too, I think.
We did too. This is 2 weeks in a row and a first in however many 16 years we've been doing this. Almost 16 years we've been doing this. So does Does anybody know what we're doing next week?
Yeah, I'm just gonna check it out right now. It is, I believe it is, roll the drum roll. Does someone have some drum roll? Superman.
Okay.
That's what I thought it was, but I checked. Superman is next week.
I have lizards to take care of next week, so I might not be here.
And I don't think I'm going to be here either. We're going to have to use our special fill-ins again. We love our special fill-in. So yeah,
And to be
we'll be in Texas.
I just want to be clear. It's the most recent Superman. It's not the original back from the 80s. It is the most recent version of Superman that just came out. So watch that one.
Thank you. So everybody watch Superman. Well, by tomorrow I will have forgotten it, even if I was doing it. So we're in our chat room going, what movie are we doing this week after we've discussed it 12 times? Anybody have any? It is that time, but anybody have anything that anybody can go see him with this next week or two?
Yeah, actually, if people are around Saturday at 5 p.m. Pacific time here on YouTube, I will have a little premiere on Saturday talking about Divergent Witchcraft over on Granddaughter Crow's channel. And I'll be live in the chat. So if you have read the book or you're interested in reading the book and you have questions, I'll be there to answer them.
Perfect. Thank you. Anybody else?
I'm just going to pop in and say 5 weeks to Mystic South. I won't say any more because I can talk about it when we have more time, but we are 5 weeks out to Mystic South, which is a big pagan mystical witchcraft conference in Atlanta in mid-July. Check it out, Mystic.
Perfect. Thank you. Thumper.
I will be presenting at an event called Harvest Gathering in August. I'm doing about 3 different presentations there. And also, Carice Eden is her name. Carice Eden is the Australian singer who did Hallelujah, whose name I couldn't remember earlier, but it came back to me and I had to get that out.
Thank you very much. Anybody in Pennsylvania? I'm going to be at Creep It Real in Loretto and Edinburgh, Pennsylvania this week, starting tomorrow. I'm going to go pack right now. All this week and next week, I'm going to be in the Dallas-Fort Worth area at Miracles of Joy and Miracles Within. So come see us, like us, follow us. Please, Witches Movie Coven on Instagram, each of us individually and together. You're in our coven now.
Go buy the Thumper is a Brony t-shirt on mysterycontrol.com. That is what I will be doing the second we get off of here.
That is what I will be doing as well.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, and I will be at a reptile convention, not buying more reptiles. It's fine. Yeah, don't worry about it.
Don't put baby in the corner. All right, we have one more thing to do because we are witches. 1, 2, 3.